challenging. And as humans, we often feel overwhelmed, isolated, alone. But the reality is very far from that. Not only are we deeply interconnected to each other, but we are deeply interconnected to everything on this planet. All of us are made of the material of this planet. All of us will return to the material of this planet. None of us were born in outer space, and none of us are from another planet. I just want you to think about that. When I was a small child, I was raised with this awareness of my connection. My father is a Shinnecock Indian of the Long Island tribe. And one day, my grandfather took us out and sat us in a green field on a hot summer day when there were no clouds in the sky. And of course, as we sat there in the grass, we began to perspire, and our foreheads, our noses, our lips, our hands, arms. And after a while, my grandfather pointed to the sky and he said, "Look, you see that up there, that cloud? That's your sweat. That's part of you up there. Part of you becomes that cloud, which creates the rain, which waters the plants, which feeds the animals." Knowing this connection has been very powerful for me as a way to approach my life. And I was encouraged to experience everything in its entirety and stay open to possibility. This next picture is me when I was 15 years old. I want to talk a little bit about superpowers, which I'm glad the first person talked about. Each one of us has a significant, unique superpower that we are born with. We can do something in a way that no other person on this planet has the ability to do. And it's our job to figure out what that superpower is and use it for good. A lot of times these superpowers manifest and reveal themselves at a very early age. You can see I'm holding a camera there. We don't always pay attention. And even though I was 15 years old and very interested in photography, it wasn't until I was 32 years old that I even thought, yes, I want to be a photographer. But every single event, every experience in my life prepared me for what I needed to know in order to do what I do today. Some very unexpected events happened when I was 29 years old that led me to be in the Arctic. And I have to tell you, I am originally from New York, but I moved to California because I was fed up with the cold winters. So that I should find myself working for the last 12 years in the Arctic and Antarctic is very unexpected. If someone had told me as a 15-year-old, you know, when you're 32 years old, you will be working on a ship in the Arctic and the Antarctic every year. And you will have amazing experiences, you will see incredible things. I would never have believed them. I'm going to show you some photos now that I have been working on over the last 12 years in the Arctic and Antarctic of icebergs. And the first time I saw an iceberg, I remember I was literally shaking because I had no way to comprehend what it was I was looking at. This thing was so incredibly huge. It was over 200 feet of ice above the sea, with another 800 to 1,000 feet below, and it was about the size of 2 city blocks. And I just couldn't help but look at that and think, this is one snowflake on top of another snowflake. Until how much time passed until this thing was standing there before me. And I also was to recall that time when I sat in the grass and watched my sweat become a cloud. And I thought, is this my ancestors' sweat that became this ice? It was really something to think about. Can we get sound? There we go. Thanks. I'm limited for time, so that was literally just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to see more pictures, you can go to my website. I'm going to leave you with this picture because this was probably one of my most beloved interactions with a polar bear. And a lot of people come to me and they say, what can they do to make a difference? How can they save the world or save the planet? And I will tell you what I tell them. Do what you were put on this earth to do. If you take the time to figure out what your superpower is and you use it, you can help us all. We need you. And it's easy for someone to say, follow your heart, live your passion. But I want to give you some helpful hints to figure out how to identify and recognize what your superpower is. One way that you can recognize it is it's something that when you do it, you lose all track of time. You don't watch the clock when you do this thing that is your superpower. Another thing is when you're doing this superpower, it's coming from a place of love. It's not fear-based. It's not something you do because someone told you should do it. It's something you feel you want to do. It makes you happy. You feel a sense of peace or bliss. And so I hope that I encourage you all really to find this thing that is your special gift to all of us, because we need you to take your place in the great circle and help save the planet. Thank you.